G'day, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome to this general killer video on Dead by Daylight. My name is Cloudy, and I'm going to teach you what I know about killer. First of all killers in Dead by Daylight have different powers and different teachable perks that will benefit them. This is how killers differ, but killers are also very similar in the fact that they can mouse 1. Tapping mouse 1 will be like a quick attack, and holding mouse 1 will make a lunge attack. 2. Tracking. Looking around for survivors, following scratch marks in chases, and paying attention to and reacting to sound notifications within the game. More specifically on tracking, when you spawn into a game, obviously you're going to try and find your first survivor. It's one of the most important parts of the game in my opinion. What you should be doing is roaming gens and going towards gens, which will be highlighted as a red aura on your screen, and looking around as you do so. Most survivors will be running towards a gen at the start of a game, or sneaking around the sides of the map depending on your rank. Once you find a survivor, then you will probably begin a chase. Another part about tracking, scratch marks will be left only when players are sprinting or using the sprint function in the game, and this can help you follow them if you can't see them on your screen, so you still know where they're running. As well as scratch marks, there's also blood. When a survivor is injured, you can follow the blood, and this will be generated more when using the perk Sloppy Butcher, which is quite useful on a lot of killers, and it is not a specific perk, so anyone can learn it. Sound notifications will occur in the game when a survivor does something quickly, like fast vaults a window, or jumps into a locker quickly, or throws down a pallet, for example. All of these notifications will tell you where survivors are, and sometimes even what they're doing, if you can actually hear them if you're close. The third thing I wanted to talk about is gen protection. Obviously, gens are the survivor's main objective, so you need to protect them by doing these things. Kicking gens, which will regress their progress as long as the survivors don't come back and tap the gen or continue working on it. Pressuring survivors off gens, which is a pretty big one in my opinion. It's like the way in which you take chases, you want to be taking chases either around gens that are progressed quite far, because then the survivors can't work on it, and if you kick the gen, then it will regress while you're in chase. The other way you can pressure survivors off gens is going towards a gen when survivors are on it, and then initiating a chase. And if the survivor runs away, then they run away, but they're not working on gens during this time. These two things are very important because it will slow down gen progression, letting you hook more survivors and get more kills before the end of the game. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about today was looping. Looping is the main way survivors will distract the killer, allowing them to do gens safely. There's a lot of mistakes that I see with the newer killers in looping, and the fact that then they will be seen as a loopable killer or baby killer sometimes. The biggest mistakes are they don't stay tight on loops, which means looping very close to the wall or whatever circle you're running in. Also, they are quite scared of pallets. They walk and then stop at a pallet for the survivor to throw it down, and if they don't throw it down, then they can just continue looping. And this can go on and on and on. So forcing pallets down and getting stunned is not necessarily a bad thing. Your main objectives as a killer in a loop is either to mind game and get a hit off, or to force down the pallet and move on to somewhere else where they don't have such a safe loop. Another point I can say, that you want to be trying to force the survivor to run in the smallest loop possible, because if it's smaller, then you'll be able to catch them or lunge around and mind game a lot more easily. If it's a very long loop, then it's quite safe for them, and they can buy a lot of time for their team while they're looping you there. A very good way of mind gaming would be hiding your light or your red stain that the killer gives off when he's looking in a certain direction. So if there's a loop with a big wall, then you want to turn around and look the opposite way to where you're walking. This is moonwalking, as I said. And the survivor may think that you're not coming from that direction, and then you can swing around and hit them through the pallet, or you might just walk into them because they don't know where you are. Yeah, a friend of mine brought up another point the other day, and he said something I feel like I can't catch up to survivors when they're looping me around a window. And yes, that would be right, because if the loop is small enough that the survivor can get to the window over and over and over, their vaulting speed is faster than yours. So if you're just vaulting the window straight after them, walking after them, vaulting the window, then yes, that would be called an infinite loop, and they can loop that for as many times as they can till the window gets blocked off by the entity, which is normally 3 times. So what you need to do is just ignore that chase and chase someone else, or try and mind game the loop depending on how big it is. the next thing I wanted to talk about was hooking and hook pressure. This is probably the main objective of the killer. Hooking people and trying to get kills. So, obviously, the survivors have 2 health states. They have full health, injured, or 3 health states. Full health, injured, and then downed, or like dying state on the floor. And when you hit them once, then they'll go into injured, hit them again, and they'll go into dying state. When they're in dying state laying on the floor, you can pick them up and put them on a hook. So once you've downed a survivor, then you walk over. Normally walk to the closest hook to you. Don't try and take them across the map because they'll wiggle off, right? Once you've hooked the survivor, you don't want to camp, because if you camp, then all of the gens are not being pressured and the other survivors can just gen rush you, right? It will be the way you lose the game. Or, if you just want 1 kill, then yeah, fine, camp, but you will not get more than 1 kill in doing this. Roaming is probably the best way to protect the hook and protect gens. So what you want to do, if you don't have a perk like barbecue and chili, which immediately tells you where other survivors are when you've hooked someone, then you want to stay kind of close to the hook, but not so close that they'd be like, oh, the killer's camping. So you want to walk away, check the gens, try and find the survivor that is coming to unhook. Because if you find that survivor, then the other 2 survivors are still on gens, then you probably could get a free second stage on the hook and they don't get the unhook. Another valuable point about hook pressure is tunneling. Or when a killer will come back to the hook and then hit the person who has just been on the hook. This is a valid strategy, although it is very toxic as seen by the community and not really... It is looked down upon, let's say. So when coming back to hook after you hear maybe the sound notification, you should go after the person that has just unhooked and let the other person get away, unless you can down both, in which case then it's okay. And my last point on unhooks would be that to go back to the hook as soon as someone has unhooked is not always a good idea. If you're already in chase, then probably stay in chase. But also if you're not in chase, then there's free chases at the hook, as you know, because they just got unhooked. In the end game, if you don't have any perk to rely on like Noed, which is kind of game breaking in my opinion, it's pretty stupid. And if you rely on it as a killer, you will not get better very quickly. You want to be obviously pressuring the exits and not really taking chases that are away from the exits if the doors aren't open yet. You want to find the exit that the survivors are pressuring and don't let them get it, obviously. Just try and take a chase with the survivor, and if they lead you too far away, then maybe go back. It depends on how far the exit is open, and that is shown to you with the 3 lights. I think that is all for my general killer guide, so I hope this helped you guys, and in the future I will be doing more specific killer guides and how to mind game and use the ability of each killer in the most effective way. If you would like to see that, please comment down below which killers you would like me to do first. And yeah, I hope this gets you better at the game. If you have any questions or to clarify anything, please comment down below and I will do my best to reply to all the comments. Okay, so as the gameplay finishes up here in the background, guys, I just wanted to add a couple things about the ranking system or how to rank up. I'm not going to go too in depth, and feel free when I hover over each emblem to pause and read through it and see what you need to be successful in that emblem. But overall, ranking in Dead by Daylight currently is very much about a balanced gameplay and not focusing too much on one category but doing well in all of them. There will be points and the amount of emblems you need to safe pip, or black pip as it's called, which you don't lose rank, and then the next highest is a single pip, where you go up in like one part of a rank, let's say, and then double pipping. And double pipping is what happened in this game, and you will need to like play almost perfectly in the game and achieve high emblems in all categories. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.